Caitlin Clark seems to have re-injured her groin.
I still can't believe what went down yesterday. Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in women's basketball right now, might actually miss the All-Star game because of one reckless, controversial play. And the player at the center of it all, none other than Jacy Sheldon. Remember that name, because after what happened, she could very well become the most criticized, if not outright hated, player in the WNBA. Why? Because what she did may have jeopardized Caitlin's entire All-Star weekend. For anyone who missed the matchup, this all happened during a game between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun. And let's be clear, every time those two teams face off, it's always a bruising, physical contest. But this one went too far. To understand how serious this is, you need to realize Caitlin has already been through a lot this season. She had just recovered from a groin injury, and her fans were finally starting to breathe easy again. Only, for everything to come crashing down because of one moment involving Jacy Sheldon. The play unfolded so quickly, yet it was so reckless that fans everywhere are calling it dirty. And now, it looks like Caitlin's groin may have been It's obvious she suffered some form of injury during the game, and the way she reacted strongly suggests it was to her groin. Let me break down exactly what happened, because trust me, once you hear it, you're going to have an opinion. With around 2.5 minutes left in the game, Caitlin Clark took a direct knee to the groin from Sheldon. Whether you believe it was intentional or not doesn't even matter at this point. Why? Because regardless of intent, it clearly caused Caitlin pain. Now to be fair, this wasn't some WWE-style attack. Sheldon didn't dive or swing wildly, but if you review the footage closely, you'll see her grab the inside of her right leg, pulling it up with a slight jerk, likely in an attempt to slow down her movement. That's when Sheldon's leg lifts and makes direct contact with Caitlin's left groin, plain and simple. Somehow, the referees didn't call anything, nothing, and that's when fans started to lose it. How is it possible that sticking your leg out and making direct contact in such a sensitive area isn't even considered a foul? Even if it wasn't intentional or malicious, it was still contact, and by all standards, that should be a foul. Caitlin, ever the warrior, tried to push through. She kept playing. This is Caitlin Clark we're talking about, a player who has spent her entire career battling pressure, relentless scrutiny, physical challenges, and more. But this time, something looked different. The pain she showed on the court wasn't just discomfort, it was real, sharp, undeniable pain. Yet somehow, she nailed a clutch three-pointer shortly after. Still, that moment wasn't the end of the story. Later, in the fourth quarter, with less than a minute remaining, everything changed. Caitlin passed the ball to teammate Kelsey Mitchell and began running down the court. Then, it happened again. She reached down and grabbed at her groin, this time on the right side. That confused everyone. Her last known groin injury had been on the left side. So what was happening now? Whether it was the left or right side, one thing was brutally clear. She was in trouble. And then came the moment fans can't get out of their heads. Caitlin slowly walking toward the baseline. Clearly in pain, clutching her groin, holding back tears. She stopped at the basket support, leaned her head against it, and looked utterly broken. She wasn't just hurting physically. She was emotionally unraveling. This is Caitlin Clark, the same woman who didn't cry even after losing the national championship game. She's known for her toughness, her resilience, her refusal to give in, no matter how bad things get. For her to publicly break down like that, you know it's serious. And to make matters worse, this is just the latest in a string of injuries for her. In college, she was practically bulletproof, rarely missing time for injuries. But this WNBA season has been a different story. She dealt with a quad issue, a groin injury, and now, likely, another groin strain. It's becoming a pattern of soft tissue injuries, and fans are starting to worry. So naturally, questions are now being raised. Is Caitlin Clark being overused? Is she playing too many minutes too soon? Are the Indiana Fever medical staff properly managing her recovery? And above all, why was she even still on the court with the game practically decided? From what some sources are hinting at, Caitlin may have entered that game already nursing a minor injury. If that's true, it raises another concern. Did Jacy Sheldon's knee aggravate something that was already healing? Is Caitlin playing hurt because the team needs her too? Maybe the medical team told her, it won't get worse if you play, but it won't heal either until you rest. Maybe she's just trying to carry the burden of an entire franchise that seems to rest on her shoulders. But watching Caitlin Clark cry on the court, that wasn't about stats or MVP races. That wasn't about competition or the spotlight. That was about a 23-year-old woman, exhausted and in pain, falling apart on live television in front of thousands of fans and cameras. And that is absolutely heartbreaking. But if you think that's the worst part, think again. The refereeing last night was an outright disaster, beyond unacceptable. It wasn't just a few missed calls here and there. These were moments where the refs seemed to disappear, their whistles silent, their judgment absent. Even Caitlin Clark's own brother, Colin Clark, took to X, formerly Twitter, to call them out. He didn't hold back, saying flat out, this was on the referees, and honestly, it's hard to argue. Caitlyn's been getting hammered on the court for over a year now, and the officials consistently let it slide. What's even more infuriating is that just weeks ago, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert stood in front of the media and claimed the officiating was fine. Seriously, because what we saw last night was the league's biggest star being targeted and injured on national television while the refs looked the other way. And now fans are furious. Her own family is speaking out. Sponsors are worried, because the hard truth is, many people didn't just tune in to watch the WNBA, they tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark, and now, they're watching her get beaten up in a league that's supposed to protect her. To make matters even worse, the upcoming WNBA All-Star Game is set to take place in none other than Indianapolis, Caitlin's home turf, the home of the Indiana Fever. This All-Star weekend was supposed to be her moment, and now it looks like Caitlin Clark might not even be able to play. Not in the All-Star Game, not in the three-point contest, nothing. And this isn't just unfortunate, it's symbolic of something deeper. Something far more troubling going on in the WNBA. Think about it, the face of the league, the main attraction, for this All-Star weekend, might not even participate. And that's not just speculation, it's a very real possibility. Because her injury last night wasn't just a little tweak. The way she clutched her groin, the tears, the body language, it told the full story. This wasn't just physical strain. It was emotional exhaustion. This is what it looks like when a rookie who's carried an entire league on her back starts to break down from the weight of it all. And there's really only one word for it: shameful. That's what keeps coming up when people talk about what happened to Caitlin Clark last night. It's becoming increasingly clear that she won't be playing in the next game. There's basically a 0% chance she suits up on Wednesday. And even giving her a 25% shot at appearing in the All-Star Game feels generous at this point. Honestly, even that would be a miracle. But here's what's worse. If the Indiana Fever decides to let her play tonight, even for just 10 minutes, it won't just be a bad call. It'll be a terrible look for the entire league. Because this isn't just about one star player missing one game. This is about protecting the face of the WNBA. It's about not pushing a young, immensely talented athlete to the breaking point. It's about preventing irreversible damage before it's too late. Caitlin Clark has already dealt with multiple injuries in just one season. And if this continues, the consequences could go far beyond a missed All-Star weekend.